I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain coming down on a sunny day? Oh, hey. 1 second. Sorry for my terrible karaoke. Hey everyone, I'm Alex. Thanks for clicking and welcome to this lesson on answering yes or no questions in English. So today, I am going to give you a simple trick so that you know which auxiliary verb you can use when you are answering a yes or no question. I will also mention some of the common mistakes that people make when they are trying to make yes or no questions in English when they are just learning the language. They are just starting to learn the language. And in the second part of this video, I'll give you some exceptions, and also I will give you some negative yes or no questions, which negative questions typically are yes or no. So let's start with the beginning. We have a variety of questions using a variety of tenses and a variety of auxiliary verbs. So, number one, does she like dogs? This is a present simple question. You have the auxiliary verb does. We use does because she does. Does she? Does she like dogs? Now, to answer this question, very simple. Yes, she does, or no, she doesn't. Okay, just follow me. Let's do one more, then I'll explain the trick. Did Eric call you last night? Did Eric call you last night? This is a past simple question. Possible answers. Yes, he did. Or no, he didn't. Okay. Now you've probably heard or seen these answers before. I want to bring up the fact that a common mistake, does she like dogs? Some students, when they are first learning English, sometimes will say, yes, she likes. Or, yes, she likes. That's it. That's the one that I hear. Sorry. And what I want you to understand is that you have to focus on the first verb, the auxiliary verb, when you are answering yes or no questions in the vast majority of situations. So, does she like dogs? You should be hearing does. The verb is does. Yes, she does, or no, she doesn't. Did Eric, did. First verb, first auxiliary verb for yes or no questions. Did Eric call you last night? Yes, he did. Okay. Next one. Have you seen the new Batman movie? Now, if we use the same trick, have you seen? The first verb is have, right? So, yes, I have, or no, I haven't. It's very important to remember that you still have to conjugate the auxiliary verb. So if the question was, has Erica seen the new Batman movie? My friend Erica, you answer with, yes, she has, because for she, you use has for the third person with the verb have, or no, she hasn't. Okay, so just make sure you're still conjugating correctly. Next, are they married? Auxiliary verb is are. Okay, so this is the verb to be. Are they married? Yes, they are. No, they aren't. Okay? Are you okay? And here we have the conjugation. Yes, I am, the verb to be. No, I'm not. I'm not okay. I'm okay. Yeah, I'm okay. All right. Next. Will it be expensive? Here you have a future question. So, your friend wants to take you to a movie, or they want to go to a concert or to a festival, and you ask the question, will it be expensive? yes, it will, or the negative, no, it won't. Next. Should I bring anything? So there's a party or a picnic, and you want to ask your friend who's organizing the party or the picnic if you should bring, some food or something to drink, or maybe a blanket for the picnic. Should I bring anything? Auxiliary verb, should, right? Modals are auxiliaries as well. Yes, you should. No, you shouldn't. Or, don't worry about it, basically. And finally, could you ride a bike at 4 years old? When you were 4 years old, you can also say, could you do this at 4 years old? This is past with could. Yes, I could. No, I couldn't. Okay? So far, so good, right? So remember, when you have a yes or no question, that is basically asking for a fact, right? Like, does she like dogs? Did Eric call you last night? Have you seen the movie? Does she? Did Eric? Have you? Are they? Are you? Will it? Should I? Could you? Always pay attention to the first verb in the question. That is the verb that you are going to conjugate in your answer. Oftentimes, it's the exact same verb. Does she? Yes, she does. Did Eric? Yes, he did. Have you? Yes, I have. No, I haven't. Okay? Now, these are all correct, grammatically fine answers. Obviously, we don't always just say, yes, no, yes, I have, yes, I did, no, I didn't. There are many ways to say yes and to say no in English. So I put some other possibilities for other answers that you could give to some of these questions. So for example, I think so. This is like maybe, you're not sure. So I think so. Which question could we ask for get the answer or use the answer, I think so? Does she like dogs? I think so. Or is it cats? I'm not sure. Okay. Did Eric call you last night? I think so. It doesn't really work unless you have a terrible memory or you were not 100% present mentally last night for some reason. Okay, I'm not going to go through all of them, but I think so. No way. So again, no way. This is impossible. This means something is impossible. So, have you seen the new Batman movie? Are they married? Did Eric call you last night? Does she like dogs? Sure. Does she like dogs? No way. Like, I've seen her a million times and with dogs, and she is always really, really afraid of them. Or she just doesn't like them because they're furry or doesn't like their tongues or something. Okay? For sure, right? Or, yeah, let's go with for sure. Should I bring anything? For sure. Yeah, absolutely. You can. You should. Will it be expensive? For sure. So if you're going to an expensive concert, like you are seeing a big name act like the Rolling Stones or Elton John or somebody huge where the concert tickets will be expensive, will it be expensive? For sure. Absolutely 100%. And again, another one that is similar to I think so, you're not 100%, probably, or probably not. So for example, will it be expensive? Should I bring anything? Could you ride a bike? Maybe you have a bad memory. Could you ride a bike at 4 years old? Probably not. I don't remember my life when I was 4 years old, but I don't think so. Okay. All right. So far, so good. Let's go to some more examples where there are some exceptions to this rule that I just taught you. So let's keep going. Okay, so now we are going to look at some of those exceptions or stranger versions of yes or no questions. So here, does he have a bike? A very common question I receive from students is, teacher, can I answer, does he have, do you have, does she have, with yes, she has, or no, she hasn't? Or do I have to say, yes, he does, or no, he doesn't? Well, the answer is you can say both. It just depends which part of the world you are in. So, in American English, you just follow the rule that I established in the first part of the video. And what is that rule? Does he have a bike? The first verb is does. Auxiliary verb in the present simple. Yes, he does. No, he doesn't. So this is American grammar, American English. In the UK, in British English, you can say, yes, he has, or no, he hasn't. Okay? So this is why I think some students make the mistake with present simple yes-no questions. They want to know, teacher, if someone asks me, do you like pizza? Can I say, yes, I like, or no, I don't like? Because they have heard, yes, he has, no, he hasn't, with a main verb in the yes-no answer. So have really is an exception where in British English, you can answer, does he have, do you have, does she have, do they have, with yes, they have, or no, they haven't, yes, he has, no, he hasn't. If you are, in England or traveling in Ireland, for example. Okay, would you mind moving over? Okay, so this is a request with would you mind is a very specific phrase in English. This means, is it okay with you if I do something or if you do something? So would you mind moving over? Maybe you are at a movie theater or you're on the bus and you're asking someone, oh, would you mind moving over, making more space? No, I wouldn't. Now, this actually means it's okay for me to move over. It is not a problem. Okay, so you can say no problem or of course not. Would you mind moving over? No, I wouldn't. It's okay. I can move over. Or if they are very maybe rude or just very strong, yes, I would. So it's a problem for me to move over. I don't want to move over. So would you mind or do you mind also? This is the one question structure in English where yes means no and no means yes. So think about that for a second. Okay, so would you mind? No, not at all. Oh, no problem. Okay, or no, I wouldn't. So it's no problem. It's okay. No means yes. Yes means no. With would you mind or do you mind? Okay, next, I put this one here. It follows the rule 100%. It's another offer, it is an offer. We did a request. Offer, would you like one? Would you like a piece of candy? Would you like, a peanut or something? Oh, yes, I would, right? Would you like one? Yes, I would. First verb would. No, I wouldn't. Okay, so very simple rule. With offers, again, there's more than one way to say yes, more than one way to say no. When someone makes an offer, like, would you like one? Sure. Yes, please. No, thanks. Okay, so there's more than one way to answer an offer when someone offers you something. And here are some of the other ways, in addition to the grammatical, yes, I would. No, I wouldn't. Okay? All right, request. This is very formal. So anytime you use may in a yes or no context, it's usually quite formal. So, may I enter? Right? Can I enter the house? Or maybe, the bathroom door is a little bit open and your friend is there or your mom, I don't know. Knock, knock. May I enter? Can I enter? And here, yes, you may. No, you may not. I included this as a separate example, number one, to give you a variety of auxiliary verbs, modal verbs that you can use in yes or no questions. But also, number two, may not, in a negative, you can't do a contraction. Okay, so you cannot say, no, you mayn't. It doesn't work. It doesn't exist. So if you use the negative, make sure you say, no, you may not. Okay, that's it. So far, so good? Good. Finally, negative questions. So the purpose of a negative question is you want to confirm with the person whether what you think is correct. So let me give you an example of what I mean. Can't you swim? So you are expecting the answer to be yes in a negative question. And maybe you're surprised that the person can't swim. So, can't you swim? Doesn't she like dogs? I think she likes dogs. Wait, doesn't she like dogs? Didn't Eric call you last night? Why are you asking me, what time the theater performance starts? We're all going, me, you, and Eric. Didn't you call Eric? I expected you to call Eric. Aren't they married? I think they're married. Okay? So you ask yes or no questions, negative questions with can't, doesn't, didn't, aren't, haven't, shouldn't, won't. Okay? So that all the negative forms that we also saw in the first part of the video and in this part of the video, you can ask negative questions when you are confirming or clarifying or checking information with people and you expect the answer to be yes, but you're not sure or you're surprised by something, right? Isn't he married? Aren't they married? Wait, can't you swim? Like, why are you so scared of the water? Okay? All right, and again, same way to answer them. You answer them the exact same way. There's no tricks. Okay, so can't you swim? Yes, I can. No, I can't. Doesn't she like dogs? Yes, she does. Or, no, she doesn't. Didn't Eric call you last night? Yes, he did. No, he didn't. Aren't they married? Yes, they are. Or, no, they aren't. Whew. A lot of information today. So just remember, the first trick is if you are asking or answering, if you are answering a yes or no question, that is just asking about a fact, okay? Like, is she scared of dogs? Can he swim? Does he, have a bike? Or does he like pizza? Focus on the first auxiliary verb, okay? Does she? Yes, she does. No, she doesn't. Can he? Yes, he can. No, he can't. Should we? Yes, we should. No, we shouldn't. So always listen to that first verb. That's the trick, except for these little exceptions and weird kind of outliers. That's a big word. An outlier is someone who is not common, not part of the common group. Okay, so that's it. If you want to test your understanding of all of the material we covered today, as always, you can check out the quiz on engvid.com. While you're there, make sure to do the quiz, which I just told you to do. So I'm repeating myself. It's that important. And also subscribe to me on YouTube. Make sure you turn on notifications by clicking the bell button thing. The thing. By now, I think everybody knows the notifications on YouTube. Yeah, it's a thing you got to do. You can also check me out on Facebook and Twitter. If you don't want to miss any of my videos, I always post an update when I post something, when a new video goes up. So I'll see you there. And until next time, thanks for clicking.